What's going on, guys, and welcome back to LOI TV. Now today we're going to be asking ourselves what has gone wrong with Cork City this season. Of course, as you're all probably well aware, Cork City find themselves in 8th place in the league, just outside the relegation zones. They are safe and they're not going to get into 7th, so with 3 games remaining it looks like they're going to finish in 8th place, which was unimaginable at the start of the season. Of course, Cork City fans will have their reasons for why they think this season has been a failure, and I've picked out a few reasons that I will look at in this video, and I want you guys to let me know in the comments what you think of all the things I'm going to say. Last year they came 2nd in the league, they're in a cup final, and it's all just gone down so much, and yeah, we're going to have a few reasons for why I think it is. So yeah, let's just jump right into them. The first reason that I've picked out, and I think it's the most crucial one personally, and I think you guys will probably agree, is that they never replaced Kieran Sadlier. Now, Kieran Sadlier was their main man last season. Of course, he's been on top form for a couple of seasons now. I think he hit 20 plus goals last year, and I heard a lot of Cork City fans saying that when he left that they wouldn't miss him too much because he only ever scored in kind of the lower games and kind of padded his stats a little bit by scoring a hat-tricks against, say, a Bray Wanderers or something like that. And I was like, oh, maybe that's correct, but the thing is that they haven't actually been beating those teams at all this season. They've been down at the bottom themselves, so the fact that they have no one there scoring in those games means that that is such a big loss for them. He's obviously a really good winger, and he scored 20 plus goals last season, so you're obviously going to miss taking that out of a team. It's going to be a big miss. So the big one for me was Kieran Sadlier not being replaced. The players they brought in that I thought could do the business were James Tilley, initially on loan from Brighton and Hove Albion. He never got going at all. He has returned to Brighton. I think he's on loan at Yeovil Town now in League 2. So that one was an unsuccessful move. And the other player they brought in a similar position was Dara O'Connor. Now, he was the one they brought in from UCD. He's still a young player, and he showed glimpses this season that he has something in there. He looks like a decent player at times, but he hasn't come up with the goals or the assists anywhere near the likes of Sadlier's stats. So that's something that if he's still there next season, that is something that he'll be looking to improve on to really push them up the league table, because it is taking that many goals out of a team, you're going to suffer. And that reason also leads into my next reason, which is the terrible transfer business that they did at the start of the campaign. Of course, as I mentioned, James Tilley and Dara O'Connor were both brought in at the start of the season, and I thought at the time that they could do well, but obviously, as I've said already, that it didn't work out quite as imagined. Other forward options that they brought in, like Dara Rainsford and Liam Nash, never got going at all and have been really poor this season. I think they're not even in the squad anymore. They might have been let go already. Haven't really been keeping track of them at all, but they were very disappointing. Gary Boylan from Sligo I thought could have been a shrewd piece of business, similar to Gary Comerford from Waterford. They're kind of utility players and good versatile options to have in midfield and fullback areas, and yeah, I've been disappointed by both of them as well. Have never got going, similar to a lot of players in this squad. In terms of the players that they lost as well, they did lose quite a lot of big high profile players, losing the likes of Jimmy Keown and Stephen Beattie, who had been such at the heart of all good things they'd done in previous years, all the title wins, all the cup wins. They've been at the heart of the team for that. Real consistent performers. So to lose the likes of them was big for the dressing room as well, because it's one of those consistencies that you like to see. Other players like Barry McNamee, I actually really rate him. He wasn't really great for Cork last season. He was okay. He was more playing out of position kind of on the right hand side, so he's going to be playing out of position by John Caulfield, but he's a really talented player, so he's one that was a big loss as well, from my opinion. If they had utilised him properly this season, it could be a very different story. An interesting one as well was Ronan Coughlin, who's gone to Sligo Rovers and had a decent season up there. Look at the current Cork City team. I think he'd be getting into that team week in, week out at the moment, to be honest. He's a good player. Never really got a fair crack at the whip at Cork in terms of first team appearances, but at Sligo he's been very impressive, and I've liked the look of him a lot. And of course, losing Sean McLaughlin, a really talented, versatile defender. He moved up to the Championship. I think he's on loan in Scotland at the moment, so losing him as well, he's a top drawer player for them, and that left a bit of a gap at the back as well. So they did lose a lot of high profile good players, and that was kind of the start for me I was worried about them from the get-go. I think a lot of the fans were as well, but I don't think anybody anticipated just how far they would drop off. Next point we're going to look at is that I think the team has gone a bit stale. You look at the likes of Conor McCormack in the midfield. He doesn't look nearly like the player he was. He's coming up to the age around 30 now. He's still playing week in, week out, but he just doesn't look the same player at all. It's strange because when you look at these players like Shane Griffin, Carl Shepherd, they just don't look like the same players at all in this team. Shane Griffin, John Caulfield was saying that they had to fend off a lot of interest last winter. There was a lot of interest in signing him, so they struggled to keep hold of him, and he hasn't looked great at left back this season at all. As for Carl Shepherd, probably been his worst season in a while. Because I thought he'd be banging him in this season, or at least nailing down that place in the wing and really being consistent and being one of those performers that would at least get them the top half. But it's been nothing of that story at all. Likes of Mark McNulty's been out of the team a lot this season. Ty Ryan has been starting in goal a lot. Mark McNulty, obviously 38 years of age, so it was always going to be coming to his day some stage sooner rather than later. But of course he's been a top goalkeeper for years now, so it's just kind of a bit stale at Cork. I think the fans not as many fans are going to the game. I remember last season we went to the Dundalk game at home and it was a great atmosphere in the 1-0 win. It was Gearoid Morrissey scored in the day, and we got a clip in the shed end. I'll show it to you now. Yeah, so you can just see the passion in the fans. It's just like not like that at all. I don't see any of it. The intensity that they played with that day, everything about the performance, you just don't see it at all this season. I don't know where it's gone. It's a weird thing. That's only a year ago, less than a year ago maybe. So it's just crazy to think about. The last point we're going to talk about in terms of Cork's demise is the manager situation. Now, I've heard a lot about John Caulfield. He obviously departed the club around the halfway point of the season, and he was recently on the Greatest League in the World podcast discussing it, and a lot of people I think feel like he could have got more time there. Personally, I would agree with the fans who wanted him out, I think, because when things go stale, they go stale, and there's no point in dragging it out for too much longer. John Caulfield is a top class manager, and I think he'll find a club in the League of Ireland probably for next season, and I think he'll do a really, really good job there. But sometimes things just stop working out and players kind of lose confidence, and it didn't feel right at all with John Caulfield there. The results weren't going his way, and I think it's probably the right decision to let him go. I think just give someone else a fresh outlook on it now. Neil Fenn, of course, taking the reins just recently, and you can't judge him at all on this season. They've been poor the results recently as well, but I think just he has to obviously get the transfer window to put his own stamp on things. He'll probably have a big enough clear out, bring in a lot of his own players to suit his style of play. Now, I'll be the first to say that I haven't seen Cork City play an awful lot this season, so I'm mainly going off the results more than the performances. So that's why when making this video I got in touch with Cork City FC fans on Instagram. Make sure to go check out their page, guys. They keep up to date with every single thing to do with Cork City. But basically I asked them, what do you think have been Cork's biggest problems this season? Now, they've kindly got back to me and allowed me to use their response in the video, so I'll read it out for you now. They say that Cork's biggest problem is morale. There doesn't seem to be a lot of confidence in the squad, in his opinion. Up to late, they have been playing better and improving, so that's interesting that he says that, considering Neil Fenn has come in. So it's good that he's putting his own stamp on things and they're starting to perform better according to the fans. Maybe the football's improving as well. He says that for the majority of the season the team have lacked belief. He says they had sold a lot of their good players last season, which I've touched on already. He said that could be a huge impact. But the team still has quality, and with their team at the moment, they should not be in the position that they're currently in, which is, I agree with that as well. He says overall, the lack of confidence and lack of belief is the main cause for why the season has gone downhill. So it's a lot of things that I would agree with in that. I'd agree with everything he said. And it's interesting to hear from a fan's perspective who goes to the games regularly. Make sure to go check out Cork City FC fans on Instagram. Thank you so much for letting us use your opinion in this video. It's greatly appreciated. While you're checking them out on Instagram, you might as well follow us as well at LOI TV. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it, share, and most importantly, subscribe.